Okay, so after much ado, we're finally going to get started on the axle swap project on Spike. So the plan has been 40s and tons, and we're about to finally get started on doing that. The rear, I want to hang the 14 bolt rear axle from some Chevy 63-inch long leaf springs, similar to what I have under the back of the Stomper. So the leaf spring, the centering pin for the axle is perfectly centered, as it is on the Tacoma leaf. So the Tacoma leaf is 27 and 11/16 inches from the center pin of the axle to the mounting bolt at either end. It's perfectly centered. The Chevy spring it's actually 32 inches from the center of the centering pin to the center of the hole for the mounting bolt. So I need to cut these brackets off. We're gonna get some new brackets. It's gonna be 4 5/16 inches from the center of this bolt to the center of our new mounting spring bolt, which is actually perfectly in line with where the very front of the factory bracket meets the frame. That is like exactly 4 5/16. So just weird anyway. But for tonight, I want to get the rear axle out from under it, and gonna get the trailer hitch off the back because the trailer hitch is gonna be in the way of mounting whatever new thing we come up with for hanging the leaves. They're gonna occupy that same real estate, so we need to get the hitch out of the way. And yeah, so for tonight, we're gonna get this rear axle out of here and start taking some more measurements and see what we can come up with. But I'm super excited to embark on this project. I can't wait. So this is what a couple hours in the garage will get you. Got the rear axle out, rear bumper off, rear trailer hitch off, and now we are looking at kind of a clean slate here. We can start making some measurements and figuring out exactly what our plan is. So if I was just going to swap the 63-inch springs into place for the Toyota axle, I might consider just cutting the rivets off of the rear shackle hanger bracket and moving it back the 4 5/16 of an inch and drilling new holes and bolting it back into place. But with the way I plan to use the truck, I think we're going to build something a little more heavy duty. So yeah. Also, somewhere in the mix, I've thrown away or lost or never got the jack tool to take my spare tire down. Hoping it's the same one as like my Tundra or something. So I need to get that thing out of my way. So buddy Ben came down tonight from Petoskey, and you know, we went over to the local PGOs and got ourselves some hot wings and pizza, poured a couple of adult beverages, and we're getting to town on the Tacoma tonight. So just dropped the front differential out. We got the lower control arms and struts all out, and we had to make a new extension cord because my plasma cutter, I didn't have an extension cord to run the plasma cutter. So I made one of those up with some parts from Tractor Supply, and it's about to get serious. I think we got to disconnect the power steering lines and the steering connector from the column to the rack and pinion, and then we're going to be able to start cutting some bracketry off the front of this truck. And once we get her stripped down to just some frame rails, then the real fun begins, because now we got to do a ton of measuring and measure 1,000 times and cut once. We are making progress, slowly but surely. The front diff, steering rack, lower control arm, struts, all that stuff's out of the way. So the upper control arms and spindles are hanging from the upper strut mount still, which are there. But I think we're about to get the plasma cutter out. It's about to get real. Things are getting serious. There's a lot of parts missing now. We're plasma cutting brackets off the frame and everything. It is pretty crazy. It's kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this was a good running and driving truck like just a couple of days ago, and now it's useless. Boom. 3 whacks with the little hammer, and out she comes. Clean slate. Now what do we do with it? All right, so this is kind of plans of what's to come. So the goal is that this will be kind of close to final ride height, hopefully, with any luck. Yeah, looks like we got to do some cutting. That 40-inch tire is hitting the fender flare on the front and the back already. So this should be pretty rad. This is very motivational. This is getting the guy a little excited right here. We got a long way to go, but it's gonna be sweet.